Hey guys, welcome. It is 10 Cent Beer Night at PiracyRecords.com. It is April 7th, 2021, and it is the most beautiful day we've had yet in 2021. It is awesome.
I heard 81 degrees today.
81 degrees, it feels great. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Alright, and another reason why we're in a good mood is Indians get their first home win today, thanks to the player of the game, Jose Ramirez, hitting two two-run home runs, 4 RBIs total. They won 4-2 today. Shea Bieber pitched well, did not get the win, unfortunately. James Karinchak couldn't get him out of the funk in that 7th inning. But Nick Wainwright got the save, and Emmanuel Clace got his first win of his career there. The 3 pitchers that are up for closer, all 3 played today. They'll play the Royals again tomorrow. So we've only played 5 games. They're 2-3. Glad to have the guys back. Hitting isn't quite there. Pitching's been awesome.
Hitting ain't there.
No.
It ain't there. Now, like I said, don't worry. Don't panic. Now, 30, 40 games in, if this is still going on, then we'll panic.
Right.
But right now, let's not panic, guys.
Well, and one thing I wanted to point out, too, about the hitting, and Rick Manning said it best this afternoon's game, is right now it doesn't really say much of anything. What I'm about to say doesn't say much of anything because we're only 5 games in. But looking at the hitting issues of last season and looking at the hitting issues this year, I do see a positive difference, but it's still not getting done. And what the positive difference I see is last year they were swinging at junk. They weren't working the count. They weren't giving pitchers a hard time, and they weren't making very good contact. This year, they're working the count. They're only swinging at good pitches, it seems like. They are making contact, and sometimes they're getting robbed. Sometimes it's not enough contact, but it's getting a little better, but it's not where it quite needs to be. Again, they're only 5 games in, and also in their defense, Tigers pitching in the first series, a couple of those pitchers pitched very well overall. They did. We have to give credit where credit's due. The Royals have some good arms in their system as well, but at the same time, it's like these are teams you could beat. And with the Indians pitching staff, what I've said is if you can give them at least 4 runs, you can win the game.
Right.
That's how I look at it. Because Indians pitching staff has not missed a beat. I think the only pitcher that has yet to play is Oliver Perez. The rest of them have had an outing.
Yeah, I don't think Perez has been in there.
Not yet, and almost there. I found out listening to the game, and Tom Hamilton was talking about it. I guess a 5th starter hasn't been official either. They've been working Cal Quantrill and Tristan McKenzie out of the pen, and then next week he has to make a decision. He doesn't have to make a decision this week because the way the schedule is, he could just go with the 4 he has.
Yeah, because you had that off day yesterday. I mean, you started the season, you played 1 game, you had an off day. You come home and you play 1 game and you get an off day. Now, I don't think they get another off day now for a couple weeks. So
I can pull that up right now. Again, they will actually no. They get an off day tomorrow. The series between the Royals is over. They play Detroit on Friday. I thought I heard him say Thursday was an off day. I said, that can't be right. No, they are right. Yeah, they are off Thursday. They have a weekend series against the Tigers.
So they're only playing a 2-game series against the Royals?
Yeah, it's over. They tied the series. I don't understand.
I don't understand that either.
Right, and then they don't have an off day till Monday, April 19th, after tomorrow. So then they play, and it's the Tigers at home this weekend, White Sox in 4 in a row in Chicago. Then they play the red hot Cincinnati Reds in Cincinnati, and then they come back to Cleveland to play the White Sox, and then they eventually play the Yankees and Twins to round off April. So that's their schedule right there.
I see the Reds picked up Bo Taylor.
Is it Bo Taylor? Yeah, they've been picking up a lot of former Indians there.
Yeah, the Indians waived him, and they picked him up the same day.
There you go.
So, but Reds are hurting for a catcher.
Right.
A backup catcher.
A backup catcher there. So we'll see what happens.
Because they released the backup catcher to bring Bo Taylor in. So.
Bo Taylor's not a bad player.
No.
I mean, I wish him well in
Veteran.
Cincinnati and everything like that. What did you think about that Cincinnati fight there?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I really didn't see it.
You didn't see it.
I didn't see it. No.
I mean, it was your stereotypical baseball fight. Is all it is, you know. But I like what
I do know they all stormed the field.
Yeah, I did like what Nick Castellanos said about the fight, though. Did you hear about that? Where they asked about because he got into it with Yadier Molina, and they said they talked about the fight. He goes, Yadier's one of those players where if he would have punched me in the face, I still would have asked him for his autograph after the game. He goes, I respect the guy too much. But you know, it was just two aggressive professionals playing and a fight. It was a normal baseball. But that's what I like about baseball still is, despite people that aren't smart enough to enjoy the game. You know what I'm talking about. Those that call it boring, they don't understand everything. Baseball still has balls at the end of the day. Some of these football fights are ridiculous. The basketball fights are a joke. But baseball, it is still tooth and nail out there. It's very good.
If you call baseball boring, you don't know nothing about the game.
Right, exactly.
You don't know nothing about the game.
It's a smart person sport is what we call it there. But Reds have taken a good start, especially hitting-wise so far. Pitching seems to be so-so. Another guy that's hurting them is their former closer they sent to Anaheim. His first game was good, and after that, he's been kind of he's been a batting cage. He's had a hard time, and that kind of. But again, it's early though. It is early. We're only 5-6 games in, depending who you are and what your schedule is.
But the Red center fielder though started picking it up.
Senzel?
No, their center fielder starting center field is Tyler Naquin.
Oh, is he in center?
He's in center field.
I thought they put him in like left or right there, but yeah, I heard he's hitting the ball well. I wish Tyler the best of luck.
6 games, 4 home runs, 17 RBI so far.
That's good. Let's see if he can continue.
I don't think he'll continue it, but I think the change of pace helped him out.
Yeah, and that's what I try to explain. It's for the record. Like I've talked to people about Tyler Naquin. I like Tyler a lot. I did, but the thing is, there wasn't consistency, and there were certain pitchers had figured him out, were always throwing, and when it came to runners in scoring position, he never really came through after the past couple of years. I'm talking about. I was pulling for it, but I said in the offseason, if they don't bring him back, I understand it is somebody else's time to shine. And now what I mean by that is I'm not talking about there's a couple pieces on this Indians team right now that are not going to be long term. We're talking about the hitting and the issues. You're going to see some change-ups in about a month. So we talked about Bobby Bradley potentially. Right now, Yu Chang's doing well against lefties at first base. Jake Bauers is doing what I thought he would do right now. Again, we're only a couple games in. I will tell you, I am very impressed right now with Josh Naylor in right field. Well, he seems to be picking it up pretty well there.
Yeah, he had a hit today.
Yeah, but I meant like fielding too. I was afraid to be too slow, but he's picking, you know. But the other guys you're going to watch out for, Daniel Johnson's another guy. They did say specifically he had a great spring, but he has options. He's young. They wanted to see if he could play all the outfield. If they could stick him in the center, it would be okay too. So they wanted to send him to Columbus so he could work on that. Another guy that's been brought up, fans are talking about, and it might be another year for this guy. Maybe not. Depends on what start he kind of gets. But Nolan Jones, third base, but they're not going to give him third base with Jose. He's been playing first base and left field in spring, and then in the minors you're going to see him. That's going to be another option there, and that's a left-handed bat with some pop to it too.
Right.
And they could use all the power they could get. Again, we're only 5 games in. They haven't done. I mean, yeah, we want the hitting to be better, but overall it could be a lot worse compared to what we've seen in the past and whatnot. So they go into 2-3. So they've lost a series, and then they've tied a series now, and then they'll go and play Detroit. And I hope they play Detroit better this coming weekend than they did last weekend, because even though they've got some younger, solid players. It's
we're going.
They should be.
We going to Detroit?
No, we'll be at home.
Okay,
they're going to be at home.
We better be.
So they'll be at home for the next couple series, because then they'll have White Sox come to town, and that one will be an early test right there, because the White Sox are playing pretty well right now. They're hitting the ball very, very well, and the pitching's all right. So far, all right for the Indians. We'll see. We'll see what they can do. I said tomorrow. It's not tomorrow. It's gonna be Friday. They are done with the Royals. moving on real quick, a quick shout out to the Baylor Bears, who won the NCAA tournament.
In surprising fashion.
Yeah, they played very, very well.
Surprising.
Gonzaga really was upset. They didn't pull off the perfect season. And Gonzaga had a great season too. And I would have been cool to see them have the perfect season there because it's just a great program.
It was the first team since '75 to go undefeated in the championship game.
Right.
You know?
It's been closer. A couple of years ago, Kentucky was undefeated, and Wisconsin beat them in the Final Four. And
I know Indiana was the last team to go undefeated all the way through.
Yeah.
74, 75, and that year. Bobby Knight.
Orville,
Ohio native.
Yep. Good old Bobby Knight there. But Baylor goes on to win the championship. So college basketball is done. And hopefully next year, Bob, we can see our Zips more often than what we did at the tournament this year.
Speaking of college basketball now, our Laurent Christian Jackson won the 3-point shooting contest, State Farm Shootout.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah, he won that, and he won the team event. He teamed up with, I got it right here. Can't remember who it was.
But yeah, they have the 3-point contest and the dunk contest in the NCAA tournament. Like the NBA has an All-Star Week, and Akron's own Lauren Christian Jackson won the whole 3-point contest. So that was
and
great.
Also the 3-on-3 tournament they had. He teamed up with Torrey Martell of Montana State and Troy Baxter of Morgan State.
Yeah, Morgan State, we've seen them in football and we beat them up there. But my point being is hopefully we'll get to see more Akron games next year. Things will start to be opened up.
Let's hope.
You know,
that's the same with my Canton Charge, you know.
Right. Well, I'm actually to the point I'm expecting it. I mean, we had Roger Goodell had a press conference about a week or two ago, and they asked about the season. He goes, "We're expecting full capacity all season." That's what he said, and that starts before college basketball starts. So if they're talking about it, and MLB's talking about,
MLB is Governor. If you listen to Governor with DeWine on Thursday when he gave his speech, he's going to let the teams decide when they're going to up their attendance.
Right.
Cleveland's pretty much going to sit. I think Cincinnati's going to wait until next week and add more tickets to their sales. Cleveland's going to wait is a month-to-month thing. They ain't going to do nothing until probably the 1st of May now.
Right.
Because they're selling tickets only month-to-month. They're not coming out and selling tickets for May.
Right.
So, but they're going to decide. I know their promotionals. I read their promotionals, their bobbleheads and stuff. They're going to put on the back burner for right now. There are going to be some promotions, but the bobbleheads will not be because they said they're so stocked with those things now, and if you got 8,000, 9,000 only allowed in there, they're going to have many of them left.
Right.
So they're going to hold off on the bobblehead promotion, announcing them. They did give a home opener. They gave out a magnet. I did see the magnet.
So. Yeah, the normal magnet they usually give
schedule
out there.
Magnet schedule.
I did hear they were talking about during today's game. Major League Baseball said that they are slowly lifting more flexibility towards their rules. The more shots that are out, so that things could drastically change in 2-3 weeks. And for Indians fans, unless you're a hardcore fan like me and Bob here. A lot of people like to wait till the weather gets warm. Well, today was awesome. We've actually had our first snow was April 1st since February. We had a snowless March. So weather's been very good here in Ohio of late. But a lot of people like to wait till it gets warm or when the kids get out of school and whatnot. So it might work out. We're about the beginning of June there. Things will start looking normal and progressive.
There was a lot of kids up at the stadium today. I'd seen that. There was I think they announced at 7,800 or something like that. Up there. But you got to remember, this is a 1 o'clock game on a Wednesday afternoon.
With limited capacity,
yeah. Limited capacity. A lot of people working today, the afternoon on a Wednesday. If it was a Saturday, you probably would have had your 8,000, 9,000 up there.
All right.
But they did have a lot of kids up there because kids are in spring break. A lot of them are on spring break right now. So, oh well. But let's wait. I hope pretty soon we can get up to a game, Seth.
Yeah, we will.
So you can wear your Cleveland number 25 Jim Thome shirt.
Jim Thome shirt. It actually has Thome in the back. It's an Acme store shirt. They don't have the copyright rights to the Indians' name. So for $5, you get a Hall of Famer shirt. We loved Jim Thome when he was here, so I just decided to wear it here. No, we'll definitely be headed to.
We need to put a Wahoo on the sleeve though.
There you go. I'll put a Wahoo sticker right there.
Yeah, wear that Wahoo hat up there.
There it is.
There'll always be Chief Wahoo to me.
A special shout out to Akron's own Patrick Carney from the Black Keys filling in for John Adams during the home opener. That was awesome of him to do. Black Keys are a national big selling band. Of course, like they were supposed to play Blossom Music Center last July. Now Blossom's a huge venue. They went from playing small bars down here in Akron to playing Blossom and the Quicken Loans or Rocket Mortgage Field House, packing those places up. And John Adams had some surgery. He had to lay low because of the whole COVID thing and the surgery itself. So he couldn't. He had to miss his first home opener since 1974. 74. So Patrick Carney stepped in and kept the drums rolling there, and that was awesome of him.
I understand what he did. Patrick called the Indians and asked them that it would be okay if he did it to honor John Adams and honor him, and they liked the idea, and he said he did call John and asked him for permission to let him do it, and he said John was really excited about it.
Right. And how can you say no to that? That's a big name. It's a local name. It's a big Tribe fan. He had some interesting take on the Indians' name change there because he's a big fan. And I had an article posted on my Facebook page about rockers and their teams, individual, like one rocker per team and their predictions. So they talked to him because he's one of the big rocker Indians fans, and they had mentioned about the name change. And he said, well, let's go to Happy. He said, I just hope they don't call it the Rockers. So the Rocker was not against that, but he likes the Fellers. He likes.
I don't think you're going to see the Fellers.
No, I don't think you're going to see it.
I hate to say this. I know you don't like the name, but I see him leaning toward the Spiders.
I think he waits till he sells the team. That's how. I think that's what he does there because he knows this is going to be a very tough transition. But
I did see that they were out there protesting the home opener.
Yeah, I didn't even see any news media for it.
They were talking. They were talking to one of the guys, supposed to be one of Native American leaders in this area, and he said, "We will be doing this. We know he said he's going to change the name. We know they said he'd do, but until he does this, we'll be protesting at every game." Exactly what he said.
They don't usually protest at every game.
No, I know. You know and I know, but that's what he said. He said until they officially get rid of that name.
Right. Well, we're talking about the same group of people. They got rid of the Chief Wahoo logo on the players' uniforms in the stadium. They came back next year, protested Chief Wahoo, and they're like, he's gone. And they said, well, we just still don't like him. He's gone. What are you mad about? He's gone.
But officially, he's not gone. Because they're still going to sell his merchandise, that hat stuff. It's still going to be on it.
Right. Did you hear about the plane?
The plane.
Let me put. I gotta pull it because I want to read exactly what he said here. I need to look up the. Here we go. Because there was two things that were said. Somebody bought a plane, and they had wordings on it. Okay, there was a plane that flew over on opening day on Cleveland.
I heard about this.
All right, and the plane had, how they have letters like it's usually advertisement or it's a
happy birthday mom or something like that.
And the plane came around a couple times with two different sentences attached to it. Yeah, banners there. One said "cancel these nuts," and the other said "Chief Wahoo did your mom."
Yeah, I seen that. I seen the pictures.
So somebody was trolling there. The Indians, Indians ownership right there, and people that were against some of the changes.
This political correctness crap is getting out of hand.
Right.
I'm sorry.
We've brought it up.
In my opinion, it's getting out of hand.
It is, and the thing I want to say is, I don't want to hurt anybody. I've known Native American folks that had. I don't really know many that didn't like it. I just don't know many at all, unfortunately. But the few I did meet loved the name, okay, and they actually were fans of the Indians. And if they find it hurtful for any reason, I feel for them. And that it was never meant to be offensive. This was meant to be goofy, the Chief Wahoo caricature. I can't really say it right. And if they did make a team of white people, and they technically have, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I would, if it said Caucasians and it had a goofy logo like the Hungry Howie's guy or whatever, I wouldn't be against it. But you have the Fighting Irish and their logo and their mascot, because they keep playing Indians mascot, which by the way is a purple monster named Slider. Chief Wahoo was never the mascot.
Right.
He never was. He was the logo. And you have the Fighting, you have the Brewers, who, no, it's not technically white people, but their mascot's a white man, a big blonde white mustache, and he likes beer a lot because he's a brewer. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's out there. It really isn't. Nobody has said anything.
Why ain't the Alcoholic Anonymous after the Brewers trying to get rid of beer?
I can't tell you that. Maybe because it'd be silly too. You know what I mean? And that's what it's like. It was never meant to hurt anybody. And if they've taken it that way,
it's getting worse.
It's getting worse. The thing that doesn't get brought up is a couple years ago, and it's one guy. I'm not saying one guy represents all, because that's not always true. We had that one Native American fellow that was coming to the games harassing fans for anything Chief Wahoo, or these two guys painted their face Chief Wahoo, and he got mad at them. And the one thing they won't bring up is he's in jail right now, because the United States government gave him a $50,000 grant, said, give this to the Cleveland Native American Foundation, and you guys could use it to help your people. He pocketed it, gambled, bought all kinds of stuff, and the government ended up calling the foundation and said, what did you do with the money? And they said, what money? And, that one thing led to another, and he confessed. He said, I pocketed money, I spent it. And it's like, this is the kind of people you have fighting for you? That's embarrassing. You know what I mean? And how can you make a good case when you don't got good people working with you? You know what I mean? And it's...
I understand.
And like I said, I've known very few. I knew... Well, one guy, I knew his son. He was half Native, but his dad was full Native American. He said Indians baseball was their thing. Every night... Well, it was an afternoon game, so they wouldn't really watch together in the afternoon because they work in the daytime. But he said at night, he said, we would get our dinner ready, sit there on TV dinners because it was time to watch the game. They would buy at least 8-pack tickets so they could go up to a couple games. They wore Chief Wahoo hats. This was they said they always counted down till opening day because that through the summer, that was the best time of the year. This was their team. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. And I knew a couple other folks that get some full Native Americans that did like it. But I am aware of some that don't, and that's perfectly fine too. But it's just, don't give me this. If we made it white, it'd be different. No, because one, it's partial right there, and second of all, do it. I would cheer for the Caucasians. I would totally be down for the Caucasians. You know what I mean? Don't tell me it's different because, it was set up to honor the first Americans. You know what I mean?
First American.
Not to mock.
Named after a Native American, first baseball player that ever played the game. Lou Sasserquatch or whatever his name is.
And he has a hard last name.
Very hard name. But it was named after him. And record book says that. I don't understand. It's always going to be Chief Wahoo, the Cleveland Indians to me.
Well, and then
period.
If we're on the subject of race, how many teams have broken the race barrier as much as the Indians have in their sport? Seriously, Larry Doby, Frank Robinson, Satchel Paige, all were breaking these race barriers and these records. You know what I'm saying? The team now, most of them are Latino. They are. Most of our pitching staff is white. We have a couple black folks in there, but most of our regular field players are Latino. And they were when they drafted Carson I can't think of his name. The shortstop, the young kid, the 17-year-old in the first round of the draft, high school kid.
Yeah.
Carson Tucker.
Tucker.
Carson Tucker. When they drafted him, the first thing ESPN, who hosted the draft, said Indians are continuing to build their Latino program in Cleveland. Because they reckon that's what they're known for, is they grab all the best Latino players to play, and they love it. And then when we have kids from all races, all backgrounds, running down to get their autographs, they don't care what this is, because this is their heroes that play on the field, and they love, that's what I mean. So, to call the team racist in general, and the fact that it makes no sense. There's so much unity and barriers broken, it makes no sense, If you don't,
you go up to the game and you go up to the stands. I mean, you see all nationalities,
right?
All races,
right?
You that is not racial.
No,
I'm sorry.
And you know how many people we actually see with headdresses on during a game? I may have seen one in all the years I've been going.
I have seen the war bonnet. Okay, that's what they call it. But I can't remember at an Indian. Now, don't tell me the Browns games. I've seen those guys out there, no shirts on, and purple. I mean, orange and brown, and
they're also very drunk. Yeah, they're football.
But you hardly ever see that at an Indians game.
No,
but they made a thing that you can't do that now.
Right, because they're afraid it's gonna. I don't know what they're actually afraid of. Because,
this old boy, don't be surprised if it happens. Me go up there with like that.
with the war hair on and Bob's.
Oh!
It is, again, it's not made to offend, and all these players in the background, and they want to win under this team name and everything. It's a special. I don't want to say team. It's a special locker room. It's a special system they have in there. Franmil Reyes made an interesting comment. I think I may have mentioned this last week. I don't remember. That he said, look, there's not a $300+ million player wanting contract, player that wants that kind of contract on this team. It's all players that want to come and use their skills to win. And that's what it was. And it kind of made you wonder. I don't want to start rumors or suspicion, yes. Rumors, no. Maybe that talk with Frankie Lindor kind of got in the way in the locker room. Yeah. If you think about it. You know what I mean? When she got his contract, I'm sure anybody paying attention saw that was 10 years. 341.
340, yeah, $340 million.
How's he looking right now?
I don't know. I haven't even paid attention.
I know the Mets get... You want to hear a crazy stat, Bob? Jake DeGrom, one of the best pitchers in the game right now. 2.07 ERA.
2.07?
2.07, yeah. Career ERA, okay? Mets are 36-41 when he's on the mound. They cannot hit for him. 36-4. One of the best pitchers in the game, has actually a Hall of Fame type potential, and they cannot win when he is on the mound.
There's always that one team. I mean, one pitcher. It just seemed like the team don't hit for. I remember the days of Charles Nagy. Of course, you was young when he pitched, but you might not even been born yet.
No, Nagy. Yeah, I was little.
He won more games in the '90s than Maddox and Messina. And he could have won a hell of a lot more if he would have had run support.
Right.
He lost a lot of games, 1-0, 2-1, stuff like that. But I always liked Charles. He's now the pitching coach, I think, for the Colorado Rockies. Is it Rockies or?
Is it Rockies or Angels?
No, it's at the Rockies. He left the Angels.
Then he's probably yeah. Because what's his the pervert is now with the Angels.
Yeah.
What's his name?
We don't discriminate on this show, okay?
But he is a pervert.
Not naming any names.
Mets have only played 2 games because there was a COVID problem on opening day.
They had 10 guys that had COVID. 10 guys. And they had to bring up some of the guys they sent to their minor league camp, which hasn't started yet, and gave them a couple days extra workout. And they brought up, I think, eight guys to fill the roster.
Right.
There's still like 3 or 4 that hasn't played yet. So I mean,
but Lindor's hitting $125 with one ribby, so that's hopefully that improves for the Mets.
That's your $340 million man.
Yeah, again, 2 games. So in his defense, I know. 2 games.
I know. Yeah.
The Indians have at least played 5, and he's only played.
At least Frankie didn't get the COVID.
Right. And I wish him well. I have nothing against him. It makes you wonder what more happened in the background there. But it's over. I wish him well. I don't see him as a traitor. I think I like Frankie Lindor more than I'll ever a Paul Dolan. If that puts it in perspective, I like him more than I'll ever like a Rob Manfred.
But Frankie did. His contract was up. He knew he knew what he was worth. What his agents were telling him he's worth. He knew he was never going to get it with the Indians. He knew somebody was going to give him that money. He knew it.
Now, do you believe the Dolans when they said we had the money, we just didn't feel like spending it on
I don't believe it.
You don't believe it?
I don't believe it. Dolans, I don't know if they're. I mean, they're rich. They're millionaires.
Yeah.
But baseball.
They did start contract talks with Bieber and Jose. And I know Bieber's it's done for the year because he said you have to give me one before the season started.
Well, he don't want to talk now until the end of the season.
Yeah. He's got a couple years left on his contract, so it's not like
he got a year left plus an option year.
Right.
That
they're going to take that.
Oh, they're going to take that. Unless something happens that I don't know. But you ain't gonna let him go. You ain't gonna let Jose go either.
No. And Jose bailing out the team today. He had 2 2-run home runs. He scored all he was the offense. They won 4-2. He broke it all. All the offense there.
And we'll go back to first base. On this day, April the 7th, 1974, the first African American manager took the field. Frank Robinson of the Cleveland Indians.
Yep.
On this day, 1974.
Now Frank's passed, right? Well, he's no longer with us. Okay, they have a statue of Frank right now. Yeah, they started adding statues in at the stadium. They had we only had Bob Feller for a while. Now they have Jim Tomei, Larry Doby, and now Frank Robinson. And there's rumors Omar Vizquel might have a statue.
He should have a statue. Yeah. He should be in the Hall of Fame.
Right. They did leak out when they were doing the renovation of the blue. It was kind of like a drawing blueprint of what the new stadium was going to look like. And it did on the retired numbers next to Tomei 25, which they did retire, said Vizquel 13. So they leaked out. They're planning on retiring that number. So that there was talks about another statue.
Is Vizquel still with Detroit? I mean, his coaching staff? I don't remember seeing him last time.
I think he left that because now it's a different manager.
Because he was their first base coach.
Right. But they moved on from Brad Ausmus. They have A.J. Hinch now, who used to coach the Astros.
Not during the bad time, was it?
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
Remember? Yeah, he won a Worlds. He is currently the manager. That's right. He picked up a manager job in the Mexican League. I remember reading that. Yeah, Toros de Tijuana in the Mexico League there. So good for Omar, my favorite player. I always.
Definitely belongs in the Hall of Fame, and he'll get there eventually.
And they'll retire the number. And like I said, there's been talk about a statue for him for a while. Cleveland Browns slowly putting more statues in too. Otto Graham is now next to. They finally had a Jim Brown one. There's an Otto Graham one, and there's talks again, and it might be another few years. They're gonna wait, but Joe Thomas will stand.
Well, Joe Thomas is a Hall of Fame. He'll be a first ballot.
Yeah. But they're saying they'll probably wait till that happens, and then there's going to be a statue in Cleveland of Joe Thomas there. And speaking of the Browns, it's been kind of just quiet on their front.
They're up there building the stage now.
Yep, they're building the stage for the NFL draft at the end of the month.
And you going up?
Yep.
Did you get your ticket?
I will tonight. It's free. It's free.
And they're free.
Yeah, they're free.
I want to see you kick that field goal, man.
I do. I need to get my old soccer skills back and kick those field goals and whatnot. So yeah, looking for.
If I go up, I'm kicking a field goal.
Right. I did learn something today. A lot of people may have learned this, but I didn't know this. When when players opted out for the COVID season, their contract transferred to the following year. So they didn't really. I don't know if they got paid this year, but they were saved for next year. So that being said, there was an interview with Andrew Billings, defensive tackle, big D tackle they got from the Bengals last year. He didn't play at all because of COVID, and he's ready to get back out there this year. So they got more depth at that D tackle than I thought. So that's going to be another good piece right there. So Andrew Berry's had a good season. As far as the Clowney situation, he may, no matter if it's the Browns or not, he may not get signed till after the draft. It might be one of those they're going to wait till after the draft. But we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of crazy draft talk going right now. Browns are quiet, but Browns are one of those teams, they could surprise you, move up, or they could move down. Or they might find their guy right there at pick 26, but for once, we're not in the top 10 picks, so it's kind of weird, because usually by this time, you have somewhat of an idea who they're going after, but now it's like, ooh, it could go either. And then all these teams are trading up for quarterbacks.
So you think they'll go for a defense guy at 26?
Yeah, they have 4 picks in the top 100 or something like that, 5 picks in the top 100. At least 3 of those, if not 4 of them, are going to be defense. This is such a defensive load draft. That's what they're going. You will see an O-lineman somewhere for depth. You might even. They're actually saying rumored to be, if not in the first, even in the first round, the second round wide receiver, just to add more depth to that because Odell went down. Odell's trying to come back. Higgins, great player, a little inconsistent, but he turned down more money to join him. He loves being here. He loves playing for Baker. Then you got Landry. He's always been consistent for them. But in the NFL, you cannot have too many good wide receivers. And Cordero Hodge and Donovan Peoples-Jones were solid receivers. You add another one in the mix, you have a deadly group right there. So it's not a bad idea. So I actually would not. I think my surprise, and again we'll talk about closer to draft time. I would not be surprised if you see. I would say more middle, 4th, 5th round, a running back taken. Just for, again, depth. You were lucky last year. Everybody stayed healthy, but you don't know who's going to get knocked.
Right.
And if you have a young, studded running back there in the backfield for depth, you're good.
No, you guys will be talking more about that in a week, a
couple weeks. It'll be a few weeks before.
I think when's the draft? 28th? 18th?
Yeah, that last week in there. It's going.
So I know you and Chris will be here talking about the draft and the picks and stuff. I do know that the Jets did trade their quarterback.
They did, and he threw a party. He was happy.
He's glad to get out of there.
He's going to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers traded a 6th, a 2nd, and a 4th or something like that.
They traded a bunch of picks.
They did. And what it means now is people figured Jets would probably get a quarterback in the.
I think you're going to that kid from BYU.
That's what the rumor is. Definitely not Lawrence. We talked about that.
Oh, we know where Lawrence is.
Yeah.
Lawrence is going to Jacksonville.
He's going to Jacksonville
with Urban.
Yeah, but now it's solidified. Jets are going to pick a quarterback. It could be by UIU. They could shock us to be Justin Fields. We don't know that. But now Carolina will not pick a quarterback. Probably not, because they have Teddy Bridgewater and now they have Sam Darnold. That's actually good enough to go into the next season on. And I think Darnold could pan out well. My only problem is I'm not a big Matt Rule fan. That's the coach of the Panthers. I thought he was an odd pick for an NFL team. He came out Baylor, not the team that just won the basketball championship, but not football. He did well over there, but he didn't scream NFL material. And that kind of just... And last year, you saw them kind of go inconsistent. Some games they surprised people. Some games they didn't do well at all. We'll see. But, it could be one of those... But I think it's a better situation for Darnold. I do. I don't know how he fits the system, but I think he's still got potential. He's got the arm. He's got the height. He's got the body to play in the NFL. I wish him well.
Just go back to the Baylor basketball. The NCAA did they're going to let some players 5 years now because they sat out the COVID thing.
Right.
They're going to let them go. So if they were a senior last year, they can play this year because they missed their junior year.
You mean just the season we just finished?
Yeah. So you have a lot of those guys coming back with Gonzaga, with Baylor. They're talking about Arkansas is got the whole starting five back. They had 4 seniors. They didn't graduate because they missed their junior year.
Right.
And so you're gonna. I was reading this article of the teams. A lot of these teams. Are we gonna be able to get Jackson back? He missed his season.
Yeah, that's a very good question.
And I'd love to have Jackson back.
Well, and why don't you hit him up and ask, hey, how does this work?
But the NCAA are allowing any senior that wants to come back because they missed their junior year.
Jackson might come back then, because he doesn't want to leave on that note. Lose it to it was Ohio, wasn't it?
They lost to Ohio.
Lost to because we were there, yeah. Lose it to Ohio there in the semifinals of the MAC tournament.
And what's the kid that kind of destroyed us?
Number 0 you're talking about with the frizzy hair.
Yeah, what was his name?
Very good point guard.
Well, I don't know, but he's the one that Jackson beat in the 3-point final.
There you go. So that kid's a good player there. Ohio also they did advance to the second round, so good for them. They took out the defending champ, so that was a big accomplishment on their part. So I would love to have Jackson, but we'll see. Maybe
I'm going to have to do some research
and
talk to him on Facebook.
Yeah. Just be like, hey, you think about coming back next year? That they're going to allow it. And Gross would love to have him back. Too.
You know what? Maybe we'll get him on our show. I'm going to see if I can get him on the show. We'll see. We'll ask him.
We talked about it a little bit there. I would like great kid. Seriously,
great kid,
good player.
Great kid.
For his size, for those that don't know, he's 5'8", and he drives through these 7-footers like it's nothing, like it's butter. He cuts right through them.
MAC first team. He led the MAC in scoring.
One of the best 3-point shooters in the league.
Yeah, of course, it shows that when he goes out and wins this national tournament, 3-point thing. Well, like I said, I'm hoping he's coming back. He will come back.
Very fun.
Now he did graduate. Remember, he graduated last year.
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, he graduated. But they're going to allow the seniors that missed their junior year, if they want to come back, they're allowed to come back. So. To get 4 years in, so let's hope and pray that they do that. Especially the ones that's not going pro. A lot of them ain't gonna go pro,
right?
Unless they go to Europe or something like that. Now I can see Jackson going here. I can see Jackson walking on and trying out for the charge.
Right.
Okay?
I can see that too.
And I would love to see it.
One more year in college might not hurt either.
No.
Because you beat a good team. You better your skills through it. You never know. We got to take a break. I just noticed the time. So we're going to take a 5-minute break here on 10 Cent Beer Night. And then when we come back, we're just going to talk around and more baseball and whatnot. We're at the baseball season. I'm glad to have baseball back. It's a beautiful night here. It's turn night here in Akron. And we'll be right back with you guys.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. The blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yeah, it's preaching now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, or I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain. I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery. Gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil.
Welcome back to 10 Cent Beer Night, the sports show on PolymerCityRecords.com every Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on PolymerCityRecords.com. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
Baseball Bob's here. Quickly, let's talk a little bit of basketball. We were bragged about the Indians' win today. Cavaliers had a good win the other night against the San Antonio Spurs. They play tomorrow against the Oklahoma City Thunder, another team they should be able to beat. An article came out this past weekend by a couple very sorry basketball analysts locally that claimed up and down Darius Garland is probably no longer in the Cavs' future plan.
Oh, yeah, right.
Following that article, Garland put up 37 points and 7 assists against the Spurs. It looked fantastic. Oh, just a reminder to folks, yes, he was untouchable at trade deadline. So where they got this information, it's just... sports analysts...
He ain't going nowhere.
They've become lazy these days. They just make up stuff for attention, and that's what it comes down to.
That's why you watch 10 Cent Beer Night, okay? We'll tell it like it is.
We will tell it like
he ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. So Cavaliers will play at Thunder. Kevin Love playing more and more minutes, staying in the game right now. It's nice to see Matthew Dellavedova back out there.
Back up there.
Hopefully we'll see, and I don't know.
You know, we're still in the playoff hunt.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see Jared Allen and Tyrion Prince soon. I do know Larry Nance is out of the road trip due to a mystery virus illness, they said. I think it's a virus. I don't mean to start rumors, but it's... mystery illness. I don't know what that could possibly mean.
Well, you can't say the C word because then the whole team shut down.
And he means Corona. You don't mean the other C word. That's going a whole deep dark path there. But I heard, for what I understand, it's only for a couple games and Larry will be back. But that's my understanding of the situation there. I'm not 100% sure, but they didn't sound Okay, here's an update actually from 3 hours ago. Larry Nance, this is from Cleveland.com. Larry Nance Jr. on the mend after week-long illness that kept him from the Cavaliers' loss. Not loss, but Cavaliers caused rapid weight loss. Ooh. That's interesting. I hope he's doing all right. Undetermined, left him bedridden. Because he flew home later that night and has remained in the Cavs during. It came back negative for COVID.
Good. Get well, Larry. We need you.
All right. So I think he's out for the road trip, and he'll return. Will return soon. They do need Jared Allen. That's a big piece, but the new guy's good. The
7-footer,
the 7-foot German kid. Yeah, he's not bad at all. He was a good pickup there. I know I'll miss JaVale McGee, but if they replaced it with somebody that we could keep her long-term backup for Jared Allen. I mean, he's a solid player.
Yeah, he looked good the other night when I was watching.
Yeah, G League MVP, former G League MVP there, so he can play.
Yeah, that's good basketball.
There you go. Him, Dean Wade moving up the ranks there, and it's nice to see because usually it's hard to see somebody come out of that league and stay within an organization and keep on getting better. We got two guys here that are showing they can hang with the NBA. Some very good players right there.
There's a lot of good talent in the G League.
There is.
And these kids are out down there trying to get in. Hope somebody sees them, because the G League is set up that every team course is backed by a major team.
Right.
Like Cleveland Cavaliers does the Canton Charge, which I'm wearing their shirt tonight. There's 3 guys on each team that are under contract as two-way players, with the NBA home team.
Right.
Everybody else, they're not under contract with the home team. We'll go with Cavaliers. They're not under. So another team, the Milwaukee Bucks, they see a kid that ain't under our contract. They can come down here and sign that kid to go to Milwaukee. Yeah, they're playing for the Charge, but they're not property of the Cavaliers.
Right.
There's only 3 guys that are property of the Cavaliers.
Right, correct.
On the team at one time, and Dean Wade was one of them. So.
And that's what I appreciate. It's G League. I'll give some credit to Adam Silver and whoever else he's been working with there, because he's been about improving the league at all costs in all different ways, not just on the big stage. And before, when you were a younger player, you had potential, but you couldn't. You had a hard time getting the NBA's attention. You either flew to Europe, you try to sell yourself out there, or whatnot. Now, the G League is set up as a competitive, fun league, and now even more entertainment for fans to enjoy.
Well, it's great entertainment,
right? And the NBA can keep an eye on you there. It gives them a second chance.
And it's priced for the family. Season tickets if you are really reasonable. And of course I got season tickets for the Charge, and I enjoy every minute I go down there. You get the same perks that would you do if you was a season ticket holder with the Cavaliers. I mean, the Cavaliers will give you a bobblehead on their night. The Charge will give you the exact same bobblehead on another night.
Right.
So you can end up getting 2 bobbleheads if you really,
if you really want to. But it is a cheaper way though to go to a game in Atlanta Cavaliers bobblehead there. Again, he's right, the same bobblehead. So, like when they were doing, and I don't know if they gave this one away, but they did the Larry Nance Browns bobblehead.
I got it.
You got it.
They gave it away.
Myles Garrett's jersey on him, and what a nice little bobblehead that one was. The Akron kid there, supporting the Browns and whatnot. Unfortunately, the Trailblazers, even though there's not a Portland and NFL team, they won't do it for C.J. McCollum over there. But McCollum's back and playing with the Canton native. But he's a big Browns fan too. He's excited for once. What was it? An article came out. The Browns now have to carry the weight of the woeing Indians after the Indians did for years. First of all, that's jumping the gun. The Indians have potential to still be a good team. Yeah. Second of all, Cavs they're right now. They aren't what they were a few years ago, but they're still in the playoff talk. But I will say, for once, the Browns are on top of all these teams. And I don't think we could have said that for years, and now this time we can. And it's only because of the big improvement they made last season. And
right. I mean, the Cavs are young. They're young. I mean, they're good. I'll tell you what, give them a couple years.
Right.
You know, keep this nucleus together, add a piece here and there.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you what, they're going to be a really good team.
They will be, yeah. I like what they're doing. I will tell them, some people jump and say, oh, it might be another 4 years. I think we're closer than that.
I think we're closer than that.
Yeah. Because what you got to remember, too, is now, I don't know what the future holds for Kevin Love, honestly. But they're going to sign Jared Allen long-term in the summer. So you got your center set up there.
I personally believe.
But my point being is, if you go to the playoffs, you can just go to this free agency and say, this is how serious we are. We made the playoffs. We made it before we would. This team was loaded with role players and some big names. And they won in, 6 games? They won 4-2, I think it was, at the end. The Mavericks won. Something like that.
I mean, Mavericks won it.
Yeah. And
I don't know if it's 4-2.
The 2 games the Heat won, they barely won. It was close. But my point being is because Heat they spent all this money on these 3 guys. They had a couple role, but I don't remember if they had Ray Allen off the bat. I think they did. They had him. They had Mike Miller. They had a couple guys. But compared to what the other side brought, just pushed them back. Same thing with it. Now, they do end up being the Spurs one time, but the second time, that's where the Spurs were able to come back at them. They had a little bit more depth, more, again, role players. And then they slaughtered them. And then LeBron leaves for Cleveland. We all know the story. But my point being is to keep looking at, you do need your superstars in the NBA. Don't get me wrong. You do. It made a big difference when Durant went to Golden State. If Durant doesn't go to Golden State, I think the Cavs play the Thunder in one of those finals.
And the players' union voted for it. The owners voted for it, but a lot of players don't like it. They figured you're going to get an extra game to get hurt. I mean,
I would like to see extra roster spots as a result. That's my opinion. If this is, let's say we're going into game 17, as weird it is to say, and the Browns have already clinched the playoffs. I'm telling
you, they ain't playing their guys on.
That's what I turn to Case Keenum and saying, you're going to get the bulk. We don't want Baker hit. I'm turning Donovan Peoples-Jones to Daryl Hodge and saying, you're the starting receivers.
And you're going to see a lot of that.
Yeah.
I mean, if they already
clinched. But no more 500 ending seasons, 8-8. So you're either going to be a loser or a winner.
Unless there's a tie in there.
Yeah.
And they still, occasionally there's a tie game.
There was more ties than we thought there would be last year. I got mixed feelings about. I mean, it is another game of football, and now that the Browns are good,
I know the fans like it.
Oh yeah. Well, I have friends that are season ticket holders for the Browns that couldn't go to games at all last year, so they get an extra one. And I think didn't they throw it in for free? Technically, they're not charging them an extra.
But no, if you're a season ticket holder in Cleveland, you don't pay for that extra game.
Yeah, so
if you're not
they throw in a freebie.
If you're not a season ticket holder, you're going to buy the game for the 17th game if you want to go.
Right. My personal opinion, if the only thing I would do, I would make it 2 preseason games unless you're playing the Hall of Fame game. Then you play 3.
That's what's happening.
Oh, I thought from my understanding, everybody's playing at least 3 preseason.
No, they're only playing 2.
They're only playing 2,
except for the teams that are playing the Hall of Fame.
Steelers and Cowboys.
They will start the Hall of Fame. Then the following week, all the other teams will go in and they'll play 2.
And I would specifically like to see, and again, it's a coach's decision, it's not mine. I would like to see.
I mean, we had this year with COVID, we didn't have no preseason game. It seemed like it worked out.
But I would like to see more rookie matchups and undrafted. Less Baker Mayfield in the preseason game. You don't want him hurt. He's already established himself as quarterback here. You don't need to test him anymore. He knows the playbook now for once because they keep changing it on him. That's I do like preseason football for the record though, because it's the only time it's guaranteed warm outside. It's something about we have a beautiful night tonight. Nights like this, when the lights are on at Cleveland First Energy Stadium, and you get to see football, and it's you're not freezing your butt off. And
that's part of the game.
Yeah, but when you're deep down in the run of the season, but when you're just kicking things off, it's nice to go in a little warm.
That's part of the game.
You know what?
Sit out there in a dog pound, bundled up, or with your shirt off, painted orange. That's part of the game, man.
But we've only had 2 seasons in my life. Well, not in my life. I'm since the '99 revival, where it's that cold and it's that worth it. Just saying, you know.
And we've been up some cold games.
Not with you. No, I've never been to a regular season Browns game.
Oh, you went to the
I've been to only preseason game. I'm dead serious. I've only attended preseason games.
Let's see, but it's a regular season. Last time I was up there for a regular season, they played. It was either Miami or Seattle, and that's probably been 10 years ago. You know,
I've seen them play the Lions
of course,
a couple times.
I've seen them play the exhibition games, 4 or 5 times.
All right, I saw. Oh, you want to hear something weird? 2 of the exhibition games I saw, the coach or coordinator on the other side ended up being their head coach the next year.
Browns head coach?
In 2007, I saw them play the Jets with Brett Favre on the sideline. He just got traded to them, so he wasn't suited up. And, they had Derek Anderson, Brady Quinn. This was after the 10-6 year. And Eric Mangini was coaching the Jets on the other side. Both coaches would end up getting fired, and Mangini would take over the Browns next year. The one year when Tyrod Taylor was first starting in the NFL, they had Shermer coaching the Browns. And Mike Pettin was the D coordinator on the other side. And he ended up coming to the Browns the next year.
Yeah.
Not sure, Chudzinski, and then was Pettit. Yeah, but I did see that. Yes, I've seen 4 or 5 Browns preseason games. Yeah, but twice
Well, I know you've seen
the new coach
You've
was
seen
on the
the
other
Giants
side.
and the Cowboys or something.
Giants and Bills. That was Hall of Fame game. I'm not Browns. I've seen 2 Hall of Fame games. One with you with the Atlanta Falcons and Denver Broncos.
Yeah,
but I was there with the Giants and the Bills when Jim Kelly got inducted, and that place was New York was in Canton. That place was blue everywhere, and it was cool to see.
That's going to happen this year, but it's going to be black and gold.
It's going to be black and blue and silver because there's Cowboys being inducted too. Don't forget, the Cowboys fans show up too.
Because you got what, two Steelers this year. One Steeler this year. Yeah.
No, you have 3 Steelers this year.
This year, and
Bill Cowher, Troy Palmer.
Two a couple from last year because they're both going to be combined this year.
Right, and then you got I think at least 1 Cowboy. I think there might be another. I'm going by memory here. I know there's 3 Steelers getting it done. Oh, yeah, it's going to be ugly. And, the Browns fans will also be... They're always there. They're always, and they'll be sitting there. Once the Steelers start cheering, we'll say, hey, do you remember how it all ended last year?
No matter how bad the Browns are, we're a loyal bunch of people.
Oh, yeah.
We root for our team.
Right.
We're not front runners.
Right. That's what. Yeah, it was fake, but I would like to see. You know how they have that sign outside the Rocky Mortgage Fieldhouse. Now it's all for the land. It's a unity sign. It's a very nice one. I want to see them change it to "We are all witnesses." Where Roethlisberger's sitting there on that bench staring at the floor. And I want to do it when they come to town and be like, "Yeah, just a reminder. We didn't forget. We'll never forget."
I really, really deep down, I thought Roethlisberger was going to retire.
I knew he was going to come back because there's no way you end your career on that note. There's no way. Like he'd rather lose to the Ravens or somebody else in the playoffs, but to lose to the Browns the way they did.
The last game of the season and then the playoff back to back. When was the last time we can remember?
Well, he did. In his defense too, he did not play the game before. He only played the playoffs, but he did throw 4 interceptions. So
he didn't play the last game of the season.
No, that was Mason Rudolph. Because Garrett apologized to him after the game, and
you're right.
They made a truce. Yeah,
you're right. You're right.
And Rudolph played well. He played better than Big Ben. Actually, there's Steelers fans saying we probably should have put Rudolph in that playoff game instead because he just. But Ben was looking kind of shaky near the end of the season, and then it ended the way.
He's getting older.
He is. He's taking those hits. And those hits are not, even for a big guy, those hits are not easy to take. And he's taking hits from, he's lucky James Harrison was on his team the whole time. Can you imagine playing James Harrison twice a year? He was one of the hardest hit guys out there. It was.
Did you You didn't watch Jeopardy, did you?
No, with Aaron Rodgers, I didn't see it.
I watched it.
Was it any good?
He did a great job.
Yeah. Obviously, he can't be the full-time guy. He's still playing for Green Bay.
But he kind of hinted in one of his texts that he would after his career's over someday, he'd like to do it. But he did a good job. I loved the one answer that one guy gave at the final Jeopardy.
What did he say?
He wrote, who would kick the last field goal? The answer was wrong.
Yeah.
But he just wrote who took a dib at him because of the field goal that was kicked to win the Super Bowl instead of him going for the pass, letting him throw the pass. It was a dig.
Oh, field goal to try to tie it.
Try to tie it. And he said, dig. He says, yeah, that answer's wrong. But he did a great job. He really did. I thought, of course, it's gonna be hard to, Art Fleming. It's gonna be hard to beat. Not Art Fleming.
I know who you're thinking.
Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek. It's going to be hard to
replace it.
Trebek took Art Fleming's place. That's how far back I'm going.
Yeah, I wasn't even around.
It's going to be hard to take his place, but he did a really good job as being the guest.
Right.
I guess he's doing it all week, so if you get a chance tomorrow, watch it. He did a great job.
It is the off season. They're probably paying him an extra $1 to do it. So.
No, I think he's getting $2.
$2.
I think you give him $2 a show.
$2 a show.
He might even be paying them to let him be on it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think it might be just we're traded all the way up for when you have Aaron Rodgers, who has still got a lot left in the tank. I didn't understand that move.
Well, you talk about while the Browns were gone, you was at Green Bay.
Right.
For years, I mean, I'm a big Browns fan. Always been a big Browns fan, but I used to root at one time for the Bengals. I mean, I was a Bengal fan. And the reason was because my dad was a Browns fan, and when they fired Paul Brown, he ended up quitting. When Dolphins came in, he became a Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
Well, since my dad never really liked the liked the Browns because of the Paul Brown thing, and Paul Brown was part of Cincinnati, I went with Cincinnati because he was down there. He founded that team in '69. But I always said that if Art Modell ever leaves that team or quits that team or sells that team, I'll become a Browns fan. And the day of course, he moved into Baltimore.
And they came back.
I still rooted for the Bengals, but when they came back in '99, I became a Browns fan again. Right. I was a Bengals. Carry our part of they're all their records for the NFC. Their championship, everything went to the NFL.
Right.
Yeah, of course they do say it with that. So.
Well, me and you sitting in the car, we were just talking about some origins of Cleveland football. We found out the Cleveland Rams won a championship before they went to L.A.
1944.
Yeah, and then the next year, championship winning Cleveland Rams.
The new Browns was started in 47, 48, and 49.
All right.
And then, of course, in 1950, Buffalo.
League Baseball scores before we go to break today.
Yeah, go ahead and read some off.
All right. This is just some of today's finals. Atlanta Braves beat the Washington Nationals 7-6. This is the Braves' first win since they were up 3-1 in the National League.
This morning the Blues walked in like a man. And give me your right hand. Ooh. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil.
Alright, and it's time for our last half hour of 10-cent beer night tonight here on this beautiful April 7th day in Akron, Ohio.
It's beautiful out there.
It's awesome. This is the weather I miss. I hate the cold. I love late spring and late summer all the way to like early fall. I'll say early
You know what's so good about a nice night like tonight?
What?
Is when the kids are out playing.
Yeah.
You know, now just playing, having a good time, you know?
Right. Like they're doing right now. We can hear the neighbor kids. At least they are outside. They're not in front of the Nintendo Switch or anything all day. Right? Yeah, exactly. I always encourage kids to go outside and, like, I would never forget. Quick story before we get all serious and talk about the subject we're going to talk about.
Do you really want to talk about that?
We're going to talk.
Do you want me to turn red?
Well, I'm going to turn redder. Nice story first.
Okay.
All right. Me and my friends, we always had our.
You got friends?
We always had our own wiffle ball league and a backyard wiffle ball and football. Like we kept stats and everything. And it's the middle of summer. We're at Christie Park there in Exchange Street. That's where we played a lot of our games. And we were playing wiffle ball. We had this group of kids that came in. I think it was run by a daycare group, and they would take the kids outside when it's nice. You know, big group. We're talking 20-some kids. Okay, they come back and they're watching us play. They said, "Hey, can I have a turn at bat?" And we looked and we said, "Pause the game. We're going to give these kids every single one a turn to at bat." And we were nice to them. We underhanded. We made sure they were able to hit it and they round the bases and everything. But we got to share wiffle ball, baseball with the community at that park, and all they wanted was like, "Hey, can we have it at bat?" So we just rotated off, and we said, "Just run the base, no tag outs, no nothing. Just you're up to bat, you're up to bat."
Well, and I would have never known that about you. You know, just you're reaching out to the community and helping the community out. Damn.
I know.
You surprised me, son.
Yeah, it was just a fun. This was in high school and whatnot, but we took wiffle ball seriously. That was our thing. We came up with all kinds of rules and everything, and pitching strategies, and we got into it. Well, now we got to talk about the mad thing. All right. So I released a blog this morning. on my WordPress via Facebook and whatnot. I wrote something up last night. I'm very disappointed in the decision of Commissioner Robert Manfred. If you've watched this show before, you know I'm not a fan of Robert Manfred at all. In case you don't know what's going on, originally the All-Star Week was going to be for Major League Baseball. He's the commissioner of them. It was going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. Last year got canceled because of COVID, the short season. It was supposed to be in Los Angeles. Los Angeles will get their turn somewhere down the line. All right. Well, the Georgia government decided to pass a bill.
Which they have every right to.
Right.
You know, they have every right to.
And that's the one thing I want to bring up before I get more details. We're actually not debating whether the bill was right or not. Okay, it's what Major League Baseball did. So they do this bill for voting restrictions. I don't care who you vote for, what side of the spectrum you're on. Last election was a complete clusterfuck. I'm not even going to censor it. It was bad. It was very poorly handled by our government. And it was expected states were going to make a move to prevent that from happening ever again. Okay, so Georgia makes their move, and Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred decides, again pressured by media and activists, I don't like that. I don't stand for it. You lost the All-Star Week. So he has removed All-Star Week from Atlanta, and officially as of yesterday, Coors Field in Colorado is going to get it, in Denver, Colorado, home of the Rockies. And the issue I have about it is the fans, the city, and the organization had absolutely nothing to do with that bill. And his move to remove the game from Atlanta, games I should say, it's a whole week thing, will not factor into changing their mind of the bill at all. It will not. The city, I should say, the state as a whole was not going to, how should I say this, earn through this week. It was going to specifically be the cities, the small businesses, the organization, and the fans, and and anybody coming in town and whatnot. Right. That was who's going to benefit from having the All-Star game there. And this guy decides, well, I don't like it, so I got to make a move as an egotistical idiot. It has removed the All-Star game from there. And I think my biggest issue with it is, unless you've been hibernating for a year and a half, everybody knows the story of 2020. They know about this pandemic. This was going to, by the time All-Star break was going to be, a lot of people predicting, politicians, etc., we will have full capacity at this event, at these events by that time. So, small businesses who lost out big but survived this whole thing so far were circling that on their calendar as the big turnaround. Fans that couldn't see the Atlanta Braves play last year had the Braves season and the All-Star game to look forward to. You have the Atlanta Braves organization that lost money, had to cut funding, cut employees, and they were looking forward to all of this to make some money and help out, their organization, their cut, their employees and everything. And then for the players, yes, they make millions, but how rare it is for a player to represent their team at home for the All-Star game? Pretty rare. Ask Shane Bieber, ask Carlos Santana when he was with us, and Francisco Lindor even. They will tell you how special it is, even though two of those players are not here with us anymore. It doesn't matter. It was that experience in that moment. Gone.
It's, I don't get the move either. It hurt a lot of businesses. It's going to hurt a lot of small businesses down there. The mayor came out and said that you took away a lot of money you're going to be taking away a lot of money from these people down here in Atlanta. The bill, according to Manfred, is sort of a racial thing. You're moving an All-Star game out of a city they said it was 52% African Americans that live in that city to a city that's got like 3% population of African Americans.
Right.
So to me, that's showing me that's a racial thing.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm trying to say? But then, of course, the mayor of Colorado, he's all for it now because my businesses are going to make some money. But Colorado, you was going to get your time. I think you was a couple years down the line.
Right.
You was going to get
so
your
they
time.
Probably swapped.
Atlanta, this was planned.
Right.
This was already set. These All-Star Game sightings are set years in advance. You know, I think Cleveland gets one like 2028 or something like that. It's already,
We just had it. I think that's
like every 10 years or 15 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably longer than that. Because what was it? It was 95 was
95, 90, yeah, maybe.
2019. Yeah, that's a big gap. Yeah.
It's like anyway.
They
was going to get it. I think it was a wrong move by Manfred. Of course, everybody knows I'm not a big Manfred fan. Pete Rose needs in the Hall of Fame. He could do that.
Mm-hmm.
He won't do that. He did let up a little bit. He let Pete Rose go into the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame. He let them name a street outside of which they really had no say naming a street after him. That's the city of Cincinnati would do that, you know. But he okayed that. He allowed Pete to go to games now. But Manfred, when are you going to let Pete in the Hall of Fame? Pete belongs there.
He sounds like a regular politician to me. He kind of just does the little stuff and drags.
He's a lawyer. He's a lawyer,
right?
You know. But what he did to the city of Atlanta is wrong. Period.
It was uncalled for. He didn't need to do anything. The city was not. No matter if you're for or against the bill, the city had nothing to do with it. The Atlanta Braves had nothing to do with it. The small businesses within the city, the fans, the people that worked for the organization, Major League Baseball, all had nothing to do with the bill. And this was an ego moment. That's what I've been trying to say. Because, look, okay, I have an example, and I put it in my blog. We have seen this before. When Adam Silver, who is a great commissioner, pulled the All-Star Weekend away from Charlotte, North Carolina for the 2017 All-Star Game because there was a bill passed by the North Carolina government that limited anti-discrimination against the LGBTQ community, okay? So what he did was he swapped and he gave them 2019 instead, okay? Now, so this is how this played out. When it first happened, you know, you have Steph Curry, who grew up in born in Akron, grew up in North Carolina, not California. And they interviewed other star players at that time, and the first thing they said was, I understand, but I feel so bad for Michael Jordan, who owns the Hornets. And he said he had so many great plans for that weekend, and now he's got to scrap them for something he had no part of. And that's all they were bringing up is Michael had special plans to make the city look good, and because of something out of his control, it was turned aside. Okay, so it does happen in 2019. They get the All-Star Weekend and everything. How much discrimination do you think LGBTQ community faced during that weekend?
I don't know. Probably a lot. Probably
none. It was all for nothing. You think Michael Jordan?
It was an excuse.
It was.
It was an excuse.
It was, and the thing that was sad was, I think Adam Silver's actually a good guy, brilliant guy. He did come out and say when he was making his decision, he said, I understand the city and the team in the league has no say in what state politics decide. They don't. Right.
You know.
But do you really think one of the greatest players that's ever played the game, and I'm talking about Michael Jordan in this case, in this scenario, is going to let any discrimination of any kind happen in his walls?
No.
Well, no, it's not. Do you think the city wants that? Like, when cities put on big events like this, they want to look good in front of the whole nation. So they want to, make sure there is nothing left out there so people could trip on or whatever. I'm trying to come up with a metaphor
all
here.
These pro organizations, all they're doing is hurting the cities and the fans.
Right.
They're not hurting anybody else. They're hurting the cities and the fans. Like you said, the cities do not have any say of what the state government does.
Right.
What laws they pass. Nobody does.
Right.
I mean, if you don't like it, what they pass, we call elections.
Right.
When you get them out of office.
Well, and that was my other thing, too, is Manfred lives in Rome, New York. He doesn't live in Georgia. This is between the people of Georgia and their politicians, okay?
That's exactly what it is.
Manfred sitting in his mansion in Rome, New York is irrelevant to the bill in Georgia. So him making this move, again, is irrelevant of how this bill's going to pan out. If it doesn't work, the people of Georgia will get at their own people. That's what, and I meant like their own politicians, not their own people.
And that's why you got elections.
Exactly.
You don't like somebody, you don't like the thing they did or passed, Get him out of office.
If he removed it from the Mets or the Yankees, which I don't think would have ever happened, to be honest with you, but hypothetically speaking, then it makes a little sense. Because, like, I live in New York, I have a problem with this measure, I have the power to really hurt you, so I'm going to do it. But instead, he's sitting there in New York going, well, I don't like what they did down there in Georgia. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm going to just go ahead and take your opportunity away. It
was wrong.
It was. And again, I've read a bit on the bill. I've heard both sides out. If there is something truly racist, the people of Georgia are going to do something about it, okay? Like me here, I can't do anything about it. I'm in Ohio. And I want what's best for everybody, don't get me wrong. But right now, there's black business owners sitting there going, well, I was really looking for that weekend. You're pulling the,
There was a big meeting. It was on the national news. The black business owners of Atlanta had a meeting, and they was upset about this because they had plans. They were going
to make some money.
They was going to make money, and help to get started back up because what they got behind. And all of a sudden, this came up, and it wasn't their fault. Okay, it ain't their fault.
They deserve the opportunity.
Had no. Manfred had no business taking them out.
How
of Atlanta.
many LGBTQ owners in Charlotte lost out when Silver pulled out of that? I'm sure there was homosexual, transsexual, all kinds of owners down there with some kind of business. There was like, I really was looking forward to that weekend, and now because you didn't trust my community to handle this situation in our own state, I lose out on the money. And for the record, and I know this, it's sort of as big as All-Star in a way. How should I say? When the Hall of Fame weekend happens in Canton, it's a week thing. Me and you know how much the business in Canton benefit. They lost out big time when they couldn't.
They lost a lot last year. Yeah. That year. They lost a lot.
There's a similarity between the All-Star and I can't say if there's more people because there is. You would agree that there's a lot of people that come down for that Hall of Fame game. Probably, I don't want to say just as much, but it's up there.
The downtown parade in Canton on a Saturday morning, anywhere between 50 to 100,000 people.
Right.
I've been there. I'm packed.
Businesses sell seats to sit in front of them, and it's But my point is we see this firsthand once a year in one of our local cities, and how much of an impact, a positive impact, it brings. Atlanta got screwed. Like
they got screwed. And you being in the entertainment business, okay?
Right.
You know how they down in Canton, Hall of Fame weekend, a lot of bands, a lot of nightclubs, they're opened up going out. Of course, they lost a lot last year because they closed everything down. We didn't have no Hall of Fame. We're putting 2 classes in this year. Hopefully, I guess it's still to go, but things could change. I
don't think things change. I'm that positive about it. I think we're
our governor. I don't know.
Well, he loses say in June, and that is in August. They already said, for those that I know we're getting a little more political here, but here in Ohio, the lawmakers have made it starting in June. Our governor loses his full say of emergency decision making concerning health, and they did say in June if there's still mask and distance mandate, they are removing it.
Did you see
that
at a restaurant up in Ashtabula County?
Which one?
I don't know. It's on the news tonight. Ashtabula County got closed. The restaurant in Ashtabula County got closed up because the owner and his staff refused to wear a mask. And they took it in court, and the judge ruled that they had a right, their business. They do not have to. That is not a law. That is a mandate thing. Right. That is not a law. If they don't want to wear their mask in that building, they're allowed to. So they won the suit. That came on. That was on the law news tonight. And he would, if somebody walked in his restaurant and wasn't wearing a mask, they'd see them anyway.
Right.
But it's not it's a mandate. It's not a law.
Right.
you can't force don't get me. I wear my mask. I wear it when I.
Yeah, we both do.
We wear a mask.
I wear my mask when I have to.
I'm 9 feet away from it. You can't tell. Can't tell by the TV. But
we want what's best for everybody. We're just explaining. By the time the Football Hall of Fame time comes in, DeWine does not have a say anymore concerning mandates and masks and distancing for the pandemic or post-pandemic at that time.
This pandemic, a lot of money was lost. A lot of people lost jobs.
Right.
You know, the same way with the state. Last year at the stadium, the Indians games. Now, Corey, the Browns was allowed 10,000 fans or whatever.
Which is nothing compared to what they can bring in.
But you know But Cleveland had nobody, and so lost all the vendors lost their jobs. A lot of security personnel lost their job, and they didn't need security there.
Right.
A lot of people lost jobs, and we need to get this back to normal.
I'm thinking too, from somebody that graduated and went to college. Okay, there are people, and I know sports management. I got out of it for a reason. I'm going to leave it at that. That was my first major when I was at Indiana Tech in Fort Wayne, Indiana there. But I bring it up because I know sports management graduates and everything. And they bust their rump to get to a certain spot. There's some that have to take a retail job within an organization to get their foot in the door, all right? So COVID comes in. Some of them lost their jobs. Some will say, hey, we'll pay you some and retain you, but we can't pay you full. No choice, you know what I mean? But at least they got to keep their job. So if you're with the Atlanta Braves, you have a small part in the front office. You're trying to move forward in your life. You've busted your rump again for 4 or 5 years, 6 maybe in college. You got to this point. All-star games coming this year where they're going to earn some more money and are able to pay you the rate they promised before. And I mean, they're probably going to pay that anyway, to be honest. But just to save the organization you're working so hard for, and then because of something out that your organization did not do, they've obeyed the rules from Rob Manfred since day one, and I'm going all the way back to last year. And you've just really pushed yourself. Everybody has, and then nope, can't have that. It's going to Colorado.
I know.
They got at least they can smoke weed out there during the game, you know. But that's for a record. I wish Denver a safe, successful All-Star event because it's the Midsummer Classic we haven't had since it was in Cleveland in 2019. And to go into part of that, I know how special it is. So I wish them well. Do not give this is not a knock to Colorado or the Rockies organization. Of course, so anybody will take it right now because that's good money. But it's a smack in the face to Atlanta and the organization. Again, did not do anything wrong. Nothing.
Well, we got another thing that's pretty much on the same boat. It's not taking a city. It's giving athletes not giving them a chance to go to the Olympics.
Right.
You know, and to me that's wrong too. These kids have trained 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to get there to represent their country. Now you're telling them there's a good possibility you're not going, but we're going to boycott. I mean, this is our politicians going at it. This is nothing to do with the athletes. You know, they want to go. You know, they give them the opportunity. If they don't want to go, that's fine too. Just say you want to go. We're going to China. We all know that's what happened over there.
For those that don't know, the Winter Olympics in January are going to be in Beijing, China. Yeah, so that's getting a shake-up, and I guess it got brought up in the meeting last night with Joe Biden bringing up ideas of, well, how are we going to bring safety, da-da-da. And it sounds like they didn't say for sure, but the way it kind of came off was China just went, whatever.
Brother, do what you want to do, you know.
And from somebody where the virus came from, that's sketchy to me. It is.
Well, I understand that part. Okay, I understand that. I'm just saying, if I was an athlete trained all these years, my first time ever going to the Olympics, chance to represent my country, I mean, I'd have to make a decision. Do I want to go or do I want to? And
that is a tough
decision. I mean, I worked my ass off to get to this point,
and they only get so many chances because it's every 4 years.
So but I don't. I don't think this discussion possibly come up. I should say, hey, we're going to have it. If you want to go, here's your options. You can go. If you want to opt out of the team, we can do that too.
Right.
You know, but
I will tell you, it's going to be the opposite of what we saw. It's basically what the Atlanta owners want to tell Rob Manfred is what China's going to tell the world. We want our money. We want to make our money. And they're going to find a way to do it. Whether you believe how the virus came about in China, it did come there no matter what you think, and they're going to want their money, so they're going to do whatever they can to make this Olympics happen. That's what it's going to come down to. It's sad when politics get in the way. I think one guy said it the best. It's actually I can't think of his name. He works for Major League Baseball. He may have been the vice president. I forget. It wasn't Manfred, because it was too smart to come out of his mouth, so it wasn't Manfred. But he said something along the lines of, there is a line or a wall between sports and politics, and he said, I'm not talking about I don't like to be the shut up and dribble people, which Kevin Durant and LeBron James were told by political analyst one time. And he said, we have every speaker in mind, but he says, I think there is a time where baseball needs to stay out of certain politics, and I think this was one of the times. Like, basically saying he didn't agree with what Manfred did.
What Manfred did was wrong.
Yeah. And I will say, again, I like Adam Silver. I think he's the best commissioner in sports, but what he did back to Charlotte 2017 was wrong.
What's the NFL? Pete Rozelle? What's the NFL?
Oh, Goodell. Roger Goodell.
Yeah. He's done a good job too. So
he's looking better the more Manfred opens his mouth. As far as who's the worst commissioner, Goodell's had his moments. The thing, there's certain things I wish Goodell wouldn't do, but as of the past year, he's kind of settled down and he hasn't done anything over the top like he's done in the past. I wish we'd just keep the games at home. I think it's stupid when season ticket holders buy a package and they're told, one of your home games is going to London. I think that's kind of stupid. I think there's a way better way to embrace, to spread the game without sending the teams overseas like that. Right. But other than that,
if you're going to sell overseas, do it during the exhibition game.
Yeah, why not?
They
don't matter.
They don't matter, and we got to pay the same price for those tickets as a regular season game.
Right.
The majority of people would rather say go to London and play or go to
and they've played in Tokyo before in the preseason. They've played in Mexico in the preseason before. Years ago, it's been changed. He's played with some ideas. The other thing Roger Goodell did. This story's kind of funny though. If you can remember, the last NFL draft, he started, first round was in his basement, okay? And then they went from house to house, and he announced that he was having a contest it was a bid for charity. And if you won the bid, you got to watch the Super Bowl in his basement with him. And the president of Barstools outbid everybody. Well, if people don't know, Roger Goodell hates the president of Barstools. He rips at Goodell all the time. So when Roger found out, hey, guess who won the contest? He said, oh no, it's not happening. He turned back on his word, and they gave him a prize instead. And they said, don't ever come to my house. Like that's how, I forget what they gave him, but the money went to charity.
I never heard that.
It didn't really make mainstream news. It was kind of. It got released by Barstools first, and then it kind of other sources found out it was true, and they kind of let it on, let the story go out there. But the money was raised for charity, so that was good, and they did give him something, but they said, you're not joining me at my house for the Super Bowl. It's just not happening. It just.
I would have told him to come, and we got there, nobody's home.
Yeah, but then that's why at least they gave him a prize. I don't know what it was they gave him, but if he rips him off like that, then that makes him look bad. You know what I mean?
Gave him 2 bar stools.
I mean, and we're talking about he gave out thousands to win that. They were. It was just. Well, it was a bidding.
In a way, that's kind of wrong too. I know you don't like the guy, but you know what? The guy
didn't intentionally to bother him during the game though.
I know what you're trying to say.
They gave him something. I don't remember what they gave him. They gave him something really nice because he did.
And he paid the thing.
Right.
Barstow gave the money to the charity.
Yes.
I mean, he could have pulled it. Said no, because
I don't think he wanted to just because the charity was looking forward to it. It went to a good charity. I think it went to the.
He could have turned around, took the money, and gave it to another charity or something. Didn't have to give to that charity.
I don't know what charity it was, but that was the story there. But
Yeah.
well, anyway, Indians are good. The Cavs were pulling for them. They could be good too. Rob Manfred sucks. That's
We know
that's it. Yeah, I'm just wrapping up the show here. We got about a minute left here, so thank you guys for watching. We took a late start.
Don't forget, this week is the Masters.
The Masters.
If you're a golfer, the Masters, the biggest tournament of professional golf.
Right.
Go for that green
Who
jacket.
do you think's gonna win?
I like Dustin Johnson.
Dustin Johnson. Is McIlroy playing?
McIlroy's playing too.
He'll put up a fight.
He's one of the favorites.
So there you go. The Masters are this week, and hopefully we'll see. We keep talking about events in August in Ohio, whatever. I hope we see the Firestone matchup too, like this. We won't.
Well,
unfortunately,
we are going to see it in August. We're going to see the seniors.
the seniors.
Yeah, we got the senior tour here in Akron now. We don't.
Okay.
The main tour. It's the Firestone Tournament Champions has moved to. Was it Nashville?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, FedEx is the major sponsor now. So
the same guys with the Washington Redskins.
yeah.
Spread
No, Washington football team. You
football
gotta be
team.
political correct, okay? Gotta be political correct.
Can you imagine just going to the Hall of Fame? Like, who did you play for? The football team. Oh, which one, smart ass? Which was football team? Oh, the Washington
And
football team.
speaking of the Masters, 75 years ago today, April the 7th, Herman Kaiser won the Masters. Herman Kaiser was from Akron, Ohio.
I knew it.
Was
I knew
from
it
Akron,
was the
Ohio.
name. There you
75 years ago today.
On that note,
1946.
thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back next week here on 10 Cent Beer Night. PalmerCityRecords.com from Akron, Ohio. Thank you guys. I'm Seth.
I'm Bob.
You guys have a good one. Go Tribe!
Go Tribe.